Hey, what's going on? Tripp Kramer here from trippadvice.com. Now listen, I don't normally talk about the topics of health or working out. Obviously, I'm not a fitness trainer and I don't claim to be in any sense, but I do like discussing some of the things that have worked for me that do have an effect and are correlated to attraction, right? So one thing I talk about, for example, in my book Magnetic, and I'll put a link down in the description below if you want to get a copy of that, is the difference between inner qualities and outer qualities. So inner qualities is your behavior, your behavioral traits, the way that you act with someone. That's more of the inner stuff. And then there's the outer stuff, right? That is the way you look, that is your finances, that is your career, that's your lifestyle, things like that. So you have inner qualities, you have outer qualities. Both really play a part in attraction and being a more attractive person, and it does play a part in dating. I always say that inner qualities, your behavior, goes a longer way in terms of getting a woman attracted, but of course, looking your best, feeling your best, working on the outer stuff, even style, that's one too, right? So working on that stuff does help also in terms of getting a woman attracted. So in terms of the outer qualities, you always want to be working on this stuff. You always want to be working on this stuff all the time in terms of trying to look your best, trying to feel your best, always working on your finances and your career, things like that. So in today's video, I want to share something with you that has worked for me, right? So this works for skinny guys. So hello, if you're new to the channel, you're just finding this because you're looking for that information. But this, what I'm about to share with you, did work for me, and I know it's worked for other guys, and I want to share it with you. I basically have 3 tips. And I know that you're looking at me and you're a lot like, okay, Tripp is like this jacked guy, and he's like really big. Like I know you still see me and I'm skinny, but let me explain something. Before this video, so right now, I am 155 pounds, okay, 155 pounds. Before, I would say about 5 years ago, and this is, I'm cringing saying this, but this is true, I was 127 pounds, okay? Now, the reason why I was able to gain from 127 to 155, well, there's a story behind it. We'll kind of go into it. Well, let's just say from 127 all the way to about 140, I just started to eat breakfast, okay? There was a time in my life when I just was so focused. It was kind of like I was doing intermittent fasting the way that people are doing it now, but it's not really something I believe one should do if they're already kind of underweight. So I just woke up and got right to work, and I wouldn't focus on food or anything until lunchtime. So basically, I was skipping breakfast. So that was keeping me at a very low weight. Then I started eating breakfast, and naturally I started gaining weight, right? Because I added more calories into my diet. And I just did that without barely any working out at all. But that's not really the tip that I'm going into. We're gonna get into how I gained some of the harder weight. So then I got to around 140 because I started to work out a little bit more. And then I completely plateaued because honestly, I wasn't doing anything for a while. So how did I get from 140 to all the way to 155? That's where I'm gonna be sharing with you today in terms of what worked. And the reason why I'm so excited to share it with you is because I'm one of those guys who would be considered, what are the terms? Hard gainer, fast metabolism, things like that. And by the way, I'm 35, so you would think, and people used to say to me all the time, oh, Tripp, don't worry, like don't try to gain weight. Like you'll get there. Your metabolism will slow down when you hit 30 and then it will work for you. But that didn't work for me. And if you're a skinny guy watching this, you might be going through the same thing. So if anyone is a hard gainer, fast metabolism type of dude, that's me. Meaning that like you can eat a bunch of food and nothing really happens too much, okay? But here is where things changed. And here's where I know this is taking a while to get to this point. I apologize, but here's the 3 things that I did that worked, that gained this weight. It was not easy. It was not easy, but nothing is. It took some time, but this is what I did. So first what I did was I tracked my calories. I thought, let me see how much I'm actually eating in a day, okay? Let me see how much I'm actually doing. And so I started eating and just recording down what I'd eat, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, what snacks I had. And I started counting my calories, and they were only about 1,500 calories a day, sometimes less, sometimes like 1,250. And it was crazy because I was like, wow, I thought I was eating a lot more. So in reality, when I think I'm eating a lot, I'm really not. And I bet you if you're one of those kind of hard gainer skinny people like myself, right? The ectomorph body. So if you're one of those guys, track your calories. I bet you're not eating as much as you think you are. And the thing is in order to gain weight, you need to eat more calories. You need to be at a surplus of calories. You need to be eating more than the energy that you're expending. Now, I don't want to go too deep into the science of it because I'll be honest, I don't know too much about it. I'm not a fitness trainer, I'm not a health coach or anything like that. I teach dating advice, but this is stuff that I learned, and again, I want to share with you. So I did learn that I was eating very low calories. So what was next? Okay, well, I had to increase my calories. If you know better than anyone, you might be relating to this. For a skinny guy, we get full easily. It's kind of hard for us to take in a lot of calories, and we maybe don't eat as much as we think we do. Maybe you're skinny because you're eating very healthy, and very healthy foods most healthy foods have very low calories, right? So what you need to do is you need to figure out a way to get more into your diet. Tip number one is you can start to use liquid calories, okay? This is what helped me tremendously. This is gonna sound insane, but it worked. Every day, minus maybe one day, so like 6 days a week, but sometimes 7 days a week, I was drinking a shake, and it was a 1,300 calorie shake. Mind you, it took me about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to finish it, but I would have that every single morning, okay? And it was just powder and water, that's it. And it was more of a natural powder, so it only had like 5 ingredients in it, but most of it was, carbs and protein and a decent amount of sugar, I have to say. So wasn't super healthy, but it wasn't, the worst in terms of filled with chemicals and processed stuff, okay? So, and it was whey protein. So it was 1,300 calories that I was taking in and ingesting every single morning. I did this for, I'd say about 4 to 5 months, okay? I was doing this mostly every day. There were some times when I took a few days off because I had to go travel or do something like that, but I was batting about 97%. So I was drinking this, and kind of hard to drink because it's heavy, but way easier to do that than taking 1,300 calories of food. So I would drink that in the morning, and I'll get into working out in a second, but I would drink that in the morning, and then as the day went on, I actually found myself getting hungry still. So it's not like I drink this 1,300 calorie shake and people are mind blown when I tell them that, like, whoa, that's insane. You know what, you must have been so full and all this stuff, so many calories. Like, no, actually you find yourself by the afternoon being fairly hungry, especially if you're working out, by the way. So I found myself hungry, and I would eat a normal lunch, and then I would start having snacks. So slowly I would start building more habits. So it's not like I was doing this, by the way, all at once. I built in the habits of the shake every morning, and then having lunch, which I was already doing, that was already habitual, then adding in snacks, and then making sure dinner, which was habitual, but then after dinner having more snacks, because before that I gained those 15 hard pounds, I was not eating anything after dinner, maybe a small bite of a dessert, maybe, but that was pretty much it. So I'd be having that shake, lunch, snacks, then dinner, and then snacks. Now, I'm not gonna go and break down exactly what I was eating. There's lots of things out there you can eat. Try to stay healthier. Obviously, I wasn't eating crap all day. Like, I would try to eat like turkey, nuts. I was trying to eat more whole grain things. I was trying to eat more like sweet potatoes instead of regular potatoes. I was not pigging out on fast food or trying to ingest much more sugar than I already was from that shake. So I was keeping it relatively healthy. I'll admit there were some times when I got lazy and I just wanted to have like a full pizza that I could just sit there and eat, like a frozen pizza, which is not healthy at all, but it gave me my calories. And so my point is I started getting to around 3,000 calories per day. At the worst, 2,500. And so that is what started to shift it. And I started to see myself gaining weight slowly, slowly, slowly. And by the way, just understand that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So it does take a while of building these habits and getting in there. But the hard gainer I always thought I was started to slowly gain weight. And of course, tip number 2 is I had a workout program, one that worked for me. Some popular ones on the internet are like PPL, which is push, pull, legs, which is every day you're doing either push exercises or pull exercises, or legs, right? Don't skip leg day. So PPL, that's something that you can use if you're a skinny guy. It's pretty simple. All you need is a very basic gym membership, and then you can have everything there. It's a mixture of free weights and machines. Okay, so I just did a very basic program, nothing crazy, and just started to do that and increase my weight over time. So if I could do a certain amount of reps and I completed it, that means that I would add more weight. So you're increasing weight over time. So I just followed that simple program. There's so many out there on the internet. My third tip for you is consistency, okay? So this has to be habitual and you have to continue to do it. You cannot just do this for a month and work out. You'll gain some weight, but you won't gain that really massive weight. So if you want to gain some serious weight, you just need to add in more calories. Easiest way to do that is liquids. 2, you need to have a workout program that you're working out minimum 3 times per week. So you got to make sure that you're, really pounding your muscles to the ground, and then you're able to build more muscle through taking in all those calories and all that protein. Side note, this is something that I'm going to try to work on for my next round, is you got to take in a lot of protein. That wasn't something I was doing. I wasn't necessarily getting fat. I don't think I gained 15 pounds of fat. I think it was a mixture of fat and muscle. But you have to understand that, I needed to put in more protein, and that's the next thing I'm working on. So meaning I'm going to try to work on putting much more protein in my diet to build the muscle even faster. Okay. And then making sure it's consistent. If you're not consistent, it won't work. Part of this third tip I have for you in terms of consistency is you have to make sure, think about it on a weekly basis. All right. So if you do kind of crappy on one day and you don't eat enough food, when I say crappy, like you're not eating enough food, like it's just a day that you're super busy or you're anxious or whatever, and you can only get in like 2,000 calories instead of the normal 2,500 to 3,000, that's okay. But you got to make up for it on some of the following days. That's the whole thing about being consistent here. Is like, if you're not taking in a certain amount of calories throughout the week and you have some days where it just doesn't work, right? Like a cheat day for a guy who's trying to gain weight might be like not eating as much. It's going to be harder throughout the week because you're going to have to add more calories in other days. So think of it as like a weekly average in terms of how many calories you're putting in. But I wouldn't try to say like, oh, I'm going to just, screw off today and not, drink the shake or whatever, because it's going to be a lot harder on that other day. So make sure you're consistent. And I'm telling you, again, I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not a health coach. I know that. There's so many other guys who talk about this stuff on YouTube, but this did work for me. I know it works for other people. And as a fellow skinny guy, to all other skinny guys out there, skinny guy problems, I wanted to help you out and share this video. If you want to learn more about the things that you can do to, be able to optimize your outer qualities, right? The things in terms of health, fitness, finance, things like that. I have a program called the Irresistible Academy, which you can check out. It's a 12-month program where I do actually interview experts who are good at talking about all the different areas of creating an irresistible lifestyle. You can check that out, trippadvice.com/academy. It's $47 per month. It's a 12-month program. Check out the video down below. You can join us there, and it's going to teach you all about it. The 12-month program walks you step by step in terms of building all the areas of your life, so you can be working on your inner qualities, your outer qualities, and maximizing everything so you can just be the best superhero version of yourself. So check it out. Go down in the description below and go to trippadvice.com/academy, where you can join us at the Irresistible Academy. I hope this works. Comment down below. I'm sure you will be. I know this is not the typical video that I usually do, but I want to put some stuff out like this that's worked for me. So leave a comment down below and let me know if you like this video and want me to put out more content of things that have worked for me that still, of course, relate to being attractive and dating, but not necessarily about directly sex, relationships, and dating. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video.